Okay, test, test, test. Okay, test, test, test. Oh, crumbs. Ta-da! Hello, it's me again, here on a Monday. Weird, although not really. Hello, my name is Oxy on YouTube, and I do these on a Monday, where I sit here for a bit and we talk about the game. And if you have any questions or want to have any advice for how to progress through the game or how to use something, I can try and help. I'm usually not too bad at that, although only sometimes. We'll see. I do with me have a grammar, thermos of tea. It's actually tea this time. It's not coffee. I'm not japing you. And I'm gonna pour this out, and we can have a little Monday chat. Very nice. I don't know how nice this is going to be because I mixed it in the thermos. And I didn't have a spoon long enough, so I used a fork. Hopefully that doesn't sort of lead to any untoward results. Probably fine. Um, yeah, we'll see. Hello. I hope you're all doing nice on this Monday. Well, maybe it isn't Monday for some people. I don't know. World is strange and large. What do we have? Oh, yes. I imagine there's probably going to be a lot of dev blogs when, soon, and such things. I can't really say anything until it's all been officially announced, but there'll be stuff soon, and it's pretty cool. So you have lots to look forward to. And that's pretty much all I can say on that. Yeah, pretty much. Let me see what we got. I need to find the mouse as well because I keep accidentally grabbing something else. That sounds a bit sinister. Yes. So hopefully as well, YouTube should be fine. In the past or recently, it's been a bit sort of weird, and the bitrate has been going down to 0 many a time. So yeah, hopefully it's fine. I think it is. I can just about see the numbers on the other monitor, which look quite green, which is always very nice. So that's great. And hopefully it's going to stay that way. There's not really many people in the office right now doing stuff, so it should mostly be fine. That would be pretty cool. And yes, there isn't really much else I can add on to the end of that sentence, although I do need some fluid, so I will consume. It's very hot, though. Perhaps too hot. Oh, Christ. Yes. Here we go. Everything's auto-scrolling. Wonderful. Whew. Okay, right. Let me see. Oh, see, thanks again for helping me a few years ago looking up stats for the unavailable. Oh, yes, I remember. Yeah, you messaged me on the forum and I got all the stat cards up. Yeah, I remember that. Nice. You're welcome. I'm glad it helped. Hello, Abigail. I am having a good day. I hope you are having a good day too. I don't know why I talk like a startled Boris Johnson sometimes when someone sort of asks me that. It's always the same. It's the same sort of vibe. I don't know why. It's like that. I moved this down as well. There we go. Wonderful. Soviet Yak, I know it's not Warthund related, but it is enlisted coming to Mac. I don't think so, from what I remember. I think this was clarified before, unless I'm misremembering that. Maybe someone can clarify. I don't think so. Maybe I am not sort of in a hold of all information at present. What are your suggestions for grinding rank 4 Germany? Aircraft or tanks? What's your poison, as it were? I don't know why I'm talking like this. Just sort of in vague isms. Never the best. Tanks. Well, I guess it's sort of a vague question. Do you mean sort of what vehicles should you use to help you go through? Like, can you get a premium? Like, what's the deal? Context me. Give me all the information. Hey, greetings from Poland. Greetings from not Poland. But I hope you're having a nice day. That would be very nice. Give tips for Germany tree for ground tanks. Very vague. I can probably give you tips for individual vehicles, but that's a lot of things all at once to kind of go over. I could probably talk about that indefinitely, and that would probably get a bit boring. So yeah, if you have anything about any particular vehicle, I can give it a go. Views on the FV 4005. It's one of those vehicles that's not. How do I sort of clarify it? It's not a vehicle that you sort of play to with the intention of like winning stuff, like winning games, etc. It's like one of those things that's kind of just kind of dumb fun, I guess. And I think for what it's worth, it's great at that. And I think for this game, it's really, really useful to play vehicles that are just kind of fun, like the more underdog vehicles. Like, there's not really a kind of category for this. It's like something I made up a while ago when I was doing my review for the British tanks. But it's there are vehicles in this game that are kind of underdog vehicles. You don't play them out with the expectation of doing really well, like if you were to play like a meta vehicle. Um, so I think the 4005 is really useful as a vehicle because it's something you can play to unwind a bit. Like you don't feel any pressure on yourself when you play it because I mean, it's a bit of a funny meme, as people say. So on that basis, it's not something that you're going to beat yourself up about if you die with it because of course you're going to. It's a massive vehicle, very easy to knock out with a really long reload, and I think it has more worth as something that's as a kind of vehicle to play that changes your mindset a bit, as opposed to a vehicle on its own, like just basing it on raw performance. Say if you were taking out, I don't know, the Carnarvon or the Cent 3 or the Cent 5, the premium, and you don't do anything, you get taken out, then you might beat yourself up about it because they are really effective vehicles. And if you you die without doing anything, you might feel like you failed a bit. But if you take out the FV 4005 and you die, it's like sure, obviously that was going to happen. So I think it's a really good vehicle to have and to play for that. If you sort of see value in improving your mindset. What about the Tiger 105 in regards to how to play it? Yes, maybe. I think I maybe missed. Oh, here we go. How do I grind to the Panther A with no premium account, no boosters, and only 2 hours of play a day? What tank should I use? I have all ranked 3. Well, I can press this button here. Wham bam, thank you, ma'am. And we can have a look at the tree. How cool is this? Although probably not very cool because we do this all the time. Well, so if you have all the tanks on rank 3, the best thing for this sort of thing is to have a lineup, and if you can, talisman a vehicle that works in up tiers. Something great for that would probably be the Panzer 470. That thing is pretty good. It's like deceptively strong in its own BR with the armor. And in up tiers as well, the gun is still going to work. So that's a good lineup to make, because you can make the 470, Tiger, Nashorn, and some other backups as well. You've got some of the TDs, the Panther D, and 5-3 is a good lineup. What I usually kind of say for this kind of thing is to make a lineup you enjoy, and effectively one that has a lot going for it. 5-3 definitely does. We have vehicles that work great at their own BR, the Tiger 1, Panzer 470, vehicles that can work in up tiers like the Nashorn and Panther D, and then you've got your anti-air as well. So that's probably the lineup I would end up making, and if you can, and go for those vehicles, and sort of just go from there. And I mean, it's never a good idea to just play one vehicle with the intention of just, using that one thing to progress, especially if it's a vehicle that depends mostly on its battle rating and the map you get. So having a lineup gives you the reliability and the versatility you need to, consistently be able to perform in matches. So that's really what I would aim to do there, is to make a lineup with those vehicles, and if you can, prioritize the vehicles that work in up tiers because you can use them more effectively. It's not like you can't, say, use the Tiger 1 at 6-3. You definitely can, but it does have a little bit less going for it. I quite like that screen. I can hide my face. That's actually quite ideal. Anyway, yes, hopefully that sort of helped. If I can clarify anything else, let me know, and I will give it a go. Clown Hospital, yes. I didn't know what to call this. There's a little sort of notification you can give, and I just thought, what's the first 2 words that come into my head? And it was clown and hospital, so there we go. I don't know what that says about me. But there we go. Right. Good day, fellow Commonwealth person. Hello. G-Day to you too. Maybe that means something. I don't know what that means. How to play the T-44? T-44 is a vehicle that works quite well when you are very aggressive with it. Its armor works at its best when you are making yourself a difficult target to hit. By that I mean sort of keeping on the move, moving the turret around. It's a vehicle that if you remain quite still, nothing is really going to struggle to get through it, as it's at 6.3. You're going to be fighting the long 88, the 90, what it's called, 20 pounder? Yes, 20 pounder. 84mm the British tanks use. So if you're making yourself quite an easy shot like that, I mean, its armor's not really very good, and you're going to need to make use of the armor to make the vehicle really work for what it does, because you need to really play it at the closer ranges because it only has an 85 at 6.3. So it's going to start struggling, especially if you're meeting KTs at the longer ranges. There's not really a lot you can do against that. So you're going to need to make yourself a hard target. Also, maybe something you can do is count how many times I do this. My hair is very long right now. I want to get it cut. We're hopefully going to get it cut this week. We can all acknowledge this now. Feel free to count it. If it turns out you can count all of the times I do it, I'll give you, I don't know, some golden eagles. I won't really do that, but maybe I will. Who knows? Back to the T44. Yes, that's really the main thing you need to keep in mind while you're playing it, is to make yourself a difficult target. The example I always use is the window of reaction time you have, and that's the period of time that you have when you meet an enemy to when they actually fire at you. And to sort of passively increase that, you are going to need to keep yourself on the move, because it basically means that the enemy needs to adjust their aim to fire at you, of course, like you don't need me to explain that. But that really gives you, well, from that engagement, two things usually happen. Either they will fire at you prematurely without really aiming for the weak spots and maybe miss, or they'll take too long aiming, and that gives you some time to really throw off their shot or to fire back at them. So that's something you need to really make use for in the T44. And for me, I use the capped round, the APCBC round, because of the extra penetration. It really does help against the angled armor. But you can use the regular APHE, the capped A version, the A shell, which still works quite well as well. The penetration against sloping roughly equals out, but it doesn't have the kind of raw penetration against angles. That was a phrase. And that's probably what I go for the D, just to have the sort of versatility in what you can fight, especially in regards to flat armor. And that's probably what I'd go for in playing it. Very, very brief, I know, but try and be aggressive, keep on the move, don't let anyone get an easy shot on you. And that's sort of how I've sort of had the best results with it. How are the questions picked? They're the ones that I look at with my eyes. There's no one else here today. It's a skeleton crew of me and some other moderators that I think are just knocking about. But I sort of go through and pick them personally. Just so... Oh, I think I swallowed a fly. This is bad. It's right up in there. It's right up in there. Don't take that out of context. Here we go. Okay, that's a bit better. Oh, wow. I don't know what happened there. Maybe some dust. A dust bunny or something. Right. Yes, I picked them myself. Just so, you know, if there's anything that I think is interesting, I can pick up on it, which is quite cool. 3 hair swipes. See, there you go. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. I move my head a bit, so when I'm doing that, it sort of goes over my eyes, and then it just sort of, I look a bit, I don't really look sort of coming across very well, so a swipe is necessary. Why am I always up-tiered? Well, it's always going to be more likely that you're up-tiered rather than down-tiered. How it works, unless it's very recently changed, is, how do I need to make sure I get this completely right. It's that only 1/4 of the team can be the top BR in any given match. So if it's a 16v16, only 1/4 can be the max BR. So if it's like a 6-3 to 7-3 game, only 1/4 of the team can be 7-3. The rest are going to be 6-3 to 7-0. That's not a constant. It's right now, I believe that the 1/4 can be top tier, but that's not necessarily to say that that will always be that amount. So for example, 4 players will be top tier or can be top tier. So by extension, it's more likely you're going to fall in the 12 players that aren't top tier rather than the 4 that are top tier in that particular scenario. So that's probably why you're being up tiered at a more disproportionate amount. And it also partially depends on what's being played. That sort of varies constantly, but you know, day-to-day basis, what people are playing. So I can't really give you any advice for that one in particular. But yeah, that's why you're being up-tiered more than you're being down-tiered, at least at a sort of upper echelon rate. Do you have any tips on penetrating British frontal turret armor, Centurions, Carnarvons, with the RU-251? Generally, it's a bit of a tricky one to go for. Let's magically go to the game again, whoop, and we can take a look at the British tanks. Let's use the Carnarvon. I think this one has the updated model on it. See my nice dislike camo here. Very nice, very red. And so the thing with this is that it has lots of different parts to it in the volumetric, and they all have a bit of variance. And behind, there's also the Spore Shield. If I can get to it, here you go. So that does disrupt some of the shots going in as well. Generally speaking, the neck is quite a good shot for what I go for, unless it's been changed. I know the armor variance does change a fair bit. There are other layers underneath it, but the neck is usually what I go for because on the turret, you can pretty much get through, but it's not incredibly consistent because of the interior plates. You could hit just on the cusp of one and get it sort of double matched, which is never very good. And there is this spot here which can disrupt a lot of the shells coming in as well. So if they're hull down, the turret cheeks are quite good, and the turret neck is usually what I go for on these particular tanks. Same for the FV as well. They're all pretty similar for that. It's just avoid the kind of area directly around the mantlet, as it can be a bit inconsistent, and sort of go for this area here, and that's usually what I've had the most success with personally. Here I am, back again. Let's see what we've got. Where are the mods at? Probably, I don't know, doing more important things. It's a holiday over in Russia right now, so I think a lot of the moderators are, or people who usually do that kind of thing, are having a nice holiday, which is very great. Very cool. When is the next battle pass? Soon with a big old TM is how I would respond to that. What tanks are coming in the battle pass? Wait and see. They will be revealed shortly. Well, already one of them has been revealed. Yep, soon. No dev blogs today then? Don't think so. But soon. Soon they will be occurring. Let's see. My eyes are having trouble focusing right now. I've not had much sleep. Does it show? Do you have an OnlyFans? What do you... No, of course not. What would I do on that? I mean, maybe I could do one where I'd talk about tanks for an hour. That could be quite fun. Although I don't think anyone would pay for it. I had a really funny joke there planned, but I can't say it because it will get taken out of context. Awful. Can you do a flip? I can. I did a flip once on a trampoline. I landed on the back of my head, and it was quite painful, but nothing broke, which was I was quite impressed with that. That was quite fun. Hello, by the way. I hope you're having a wonderful time on this merry Monday. Why don't you like eggs? I don't trust how they move initially. That my dad made me one when I was sort of younger, and he was like, "Get a load of that," and I thought, not for me. It was sort of wobbling about. I didn't like it. I don't know why. I think it just it seemed sinister to me, and ever since then, awful. When is the official War Thunder hot tub stream? Now, it's funny you say that, because there are plans in motion. It's only 11 PM in Australia. Well, ain't that something, Chief? Crazy how time works. Will we ever see more modern bombers in the US tech tree? From my perspective, the game can't really fairly accommodate them right now. That's not exactly like an official stance on why they're not here. It's what I personally think is the case. If they were to be added right now, there's not really a place where they could have a decent impact and not get obliterated instantly. So yeah, I think it's not impossible that they'll show up in the future. Maybe they will. I have no idea. But I think right now it's not really. They don't really have an environment that's going to be hugely accommodating. That's what I'd say to that. Eggs sus. Haha, that's the funny Among Us meme, isn't it? Yes. I played that game once, and I was really bad at it, because I didn't want to kill anyone. I sort of hit an event, and it was very fun. But not for me. Well, it was a bit. But still. Is your shop still closed for the time being? Yes. I am looking for wholesalers over here for frames. When I have narrowed them down, I will definitely get it back up again. That'll be very cool. As I really miss doing it, actually. Hello, Futch. How are you doing? Yes, it is me. Hello. My cup of tea. My cup of cha. I think char's coffee, though, isn't it? It's like burning the beans. Maybe. I don't know. Lexicography. How does it work? I cannot say to anything in the next update, I'm afraid. So, I mean, you can ask, but I can't really tell you. It's going to be the same answer over and over. Make an announcement on your channel when it's open? I definitely will. Yes, that is a good suggestion. I will do this. Absolutely. Drinking tea while living in Germany? Yeah, we ordered these in from Amazon. These are I think this is a Yorkshire hard water blend, which is quite nice. So yeah, these are proper bong tea. It's not bad. I mean, it tastes the same, of course. Most tea in Germany is like herbal, which is mm, sometimes it's okay when you're ill, but not as a sort of casual, cool and hip drink. And obviously that's indicative of my personality. Um, Irish tea is the best. Can't say I've had sort of quintessential Irish brew. Maybe I will have one. How to enjoy War Thunder? An incredibly vague question. I don't think I can answer that as a sort of general answer. I think it's more so depends on you as a person. As in, like, the things that I enjoy about the game, maybe not what you enjoy about the game. Maybe I can sort of streamline that into an answer in a bit, but for now, I think it's a bit too vague to answer or give an answer that's going to be for everyone. How do you make your tea? Bit of milk and bit of tea bag. Not much else. Sometimes I have sugar in it if I need sort of the little boost. But I don't know why, but I always find that if I'm working on a project or I'm just working in general, if I have tea without sugar, I work more efficiently than if I have sugar. I don't know why that is, but it's the case, which is quite strange, but nevertheless true. Bit rate is looking fine. Wonderful. So you're about to slam out in top to just... I can't play right now. This is like a little solo endeavor. No playing. But I mean, I can give you some words of encouragement in the meantime. But in the future, yeah, we could probably have a couple of jet games. I am not very good at jets, or rather, I'm not the worst at jets, but I haven't played them enough to be confident in sort of knowing exactly how they work. So I would like to have a bit more of a go. Oxy, are you planning a tour around Germany after the lockdown? The outside terrifies me, so I would like to not do that, but I think I'll probably be made to do that. There are some places I'd like to have a look at. Black Forest looks quite nice, and that's not too far away, so I might have a sort of gander over there and see what else is knocking about. There's a couple of museums I'd like to see, but I mean, they're not really that approachable right now, so maybe not for a while, but I would like that. That could be quite nice. Maybe we can get a sort of rumble party going. I don't know why I said rumble party, that's very vague. A tea decal for tea streams, maybe. That could be quite fun. I'm not sure how that works, but how it would work. But we'll see. Maybe we can have like a stream pack. That could be cool. Any tips for identifying armor thickness on the fly? There's nothing really like that. Tanks are, at least for the earlier tanks, incredibly varied. There's nothing that will sort of universally work. Although, if in doubt, shoot the barrel. Or, things like the turret ring are usually quite weak in general, given that they are, by design, sort of weak spots. But yeah, generally speaking, there's very, very little to add in there. I think that can be generalized. Please give me a premium 1 month, please. I cannot do that, I'm afraid. That's not within my remit of possibility. Video games and theme parks says hi. Hello to you. I hope you're having a wild day. Can you drive a car IRL? No, I can't drive. Doesn't work. My brain goes all weird. What is the Russian T-34's counter? Anything if you can aim quite well, I think. Yeah, it depends on the nation. One thing I will say for this is that I'm someone that doesn't operate in black and white very much. I'm quite a grey person, as you can see. Shades of grey. I'm wearing most of them right now, as you can see. So if you have a question, if you can make it sort of as specific as possible, that will be a really big help. Because if it's general, I could quite comfortably talk about the topic for an embarrassingly long time, and that's not going to be very fun. So yeah, the more sort of streamlined, the better. That would certainly help. Let's see. These are some amazing comments we've got going on here. Do you have a girlfriend? No, I do not. I speak to effectively no one, and plus I don't speak German, so the likelihood of me meeting a brash young Helga on the street on the streets is not exactly likely. Although it would be very funny. I mean, no, I can't say that. Anyway, right. Also, the chair is in shot. I think is that the chair or is that the end of the green screen? I don't know. I'm gonna kick the chair. Let's see. I don't know why I elected to do this as a sort of motion. I didn't need to do this. I think it's the green screen. Oh well, we'll leave it. We'll leave it for now. Um, that I cannot deal with. I'm not equipped. Operation Find Tom Oppression. I mean, let's. Oh Christ. Right. Do you live at the same place as Mike? Yes. We live in the same flat share with the social media guy. It's a party house, as you can imagine. Spitfire Hun, any advice for the T44? I did answer that a bit earlier on. If you want to sort of shimmy back a little bit, perhaps you can find it. And sort of relive the advice from the past. Let's see. Most in Germany speak English? Yeah, but I worry about putting people out. Like, I mean, if I go into a shop and say, hello, can I have one of your finest soups? They might not understand. I've never had a soup either, so that would be quite strange for me. Yeah, I don't think it's that likely. How should I stock grind the automatic? Usually for AA, what I usually do, maybe this is not something that everyone will be interested in, is that I put a film on the other monitor and just put it in arcade. Sit in the spawn and just click on helis when they appear, and with the proxy rounds, and it's quite nice. Playing in RB is a little more difficult, and it will obviously it's dependent on how the flow of the match is going. But if you play arcade, you're almost guaranteed for enemy helis or aircraft to appear. So just playing it casually like that is probably the way to go. It's a good one to talisman as well. I talismaned it, and that's how I played it. I just put on loads of like Studio Ghibli movies and just played it in arcade, and I got most of the MBTs that way. That's probably what I do, but obviously you don't have the means to get a talisman. Just doing it in arcade that way will still work. That's what I go for. Oh, I cannot even... right, my brain is good at stopping myself from saying naughty words that will get taken out of context. Walk around hip thrusting until a handsome young Helga hip thrusts back at you. That's a good sort of mating ritual, I would say. I mean, it would attract the right people. Perhaps that can be something for me to attempt, although I'd probably just get pushed into the road. Do you know when the Spitfire F Mark 9C for Russia was last available? I think it was a couple of years ago now. There's usually a special event that it comes back in for GE. I'm not sure what it was, but it was a few years ago now. I probably wouldn't say it's gone forever. It's one of those things that like periodically appears again, so maybe it will come back in the future. I cannot say to when though, I'm afraid. How tall are you? Not very tall, I think. I think I'm like exactly average height. I don't know what it is exactly, but I'm 5 something, like 9 maybe. I'm not really very tall. I'm sort of quite normal in terms of height. Do you think there will ever be a China event vehicle? At some point, yeah. I think the kind of passive danger with making event vehicles for China is that it, takes away a vehicle that could be in the main tree. And I think that's generally why a lot of the minor nations don't get as many event vehicles, is that it sort of takes away stuff that could be in the main tree that everyone can play. But I think probably at some point, yeah, they'll probably get one. I can't say to when that will be, though. 180 is about average? Sure, maybe... I don't even know. I don't know. I've got no idea. I've never really measured myself in about 10 years. I just assume I'm a bit taller than I was. It's 5'6". Not very much. So no, I'm a fair bit taller than that. Oh, it would be quite funny if I was though. I could sort of get into some goofy hijinks with that. When haircut, please tell I need to know. I can't tell you when I'm having a haircut. It will probably be this week, hopefully, when we can find a hairdresser that speaks English. The one I went to last time didn't, and a funny altercation occurred, although I won't repeat it here because I'll get bullied for it. So, yep. Grow a beard? I can't. It doesn't work. It just does not work. It's just sort of like this most of the time. I don't know why I'm squishing my face. That just makes me look sort of like a loaf of bread. Yep. Is there going to be bigger ships added into War Thunder later down the road? Probably. I don't know. But I mean, given as to what you can surmise with the current BRs and how things go, it's not an impossibility. That's just vague enough to be interesting, I think, as an answer. My hairdresser doesn't speak German? Yeah, mine thought I was... It doesn't matter. Was very confused as to what I wanted. Because I used a measurement that was not... well, yeah, not the best. In terms of engagements. How old are you? 20-something? I don't really know. I think I'm 22, 23, I think. No. Am I 23? I really don't know. I haven't really had a birthday since I was about 8. I went bowling and I came last, and I was like, well, what's the point? And like, I'm not really someone that likes being the center of attention, so I never really had parties because everyone was sort of there because of me, and I was like, I didn't really like that. So I don't really pay attention to my birthday. I'm sort of early 20s, I think. Me with short hair would look bizarre. I don't think it would work. I had short hair once when I was very young. I'm not really very young. I was sort of a bit older than that. And it was just strange. It didn't fit me, I think. Plus my hair grows really quickly, so I can't have it short for very long. He says I'll be in the center of a stream. I know. Imagine how I feel right now. My insides are on fire. My brain is yelling at me, but I mean, on the surface, I'm clean and serene. Yeah. Plus, this is sort of my job, so, I mean, I can't really just sort of say no to it. Wait, so are you the developer of War Thunder? Yes, I am the developer, the only one. No, I'm not a developer. I do lots of little things for the company. Also do the streaming with Mike on the Thursday and the Friday. And I have my little solo thing on the Monday, which is this. Hello, you're here now. Which is kind of nice. Yeah, I'm not a developer, although I do sometimes help in test things and that kind of thing. But most of the time, it's sort of other areas. On the surface, I am calm and ready. Yes. Do you think there'll be a Romanian tech tree? Probably not. I think, from what I remember, the old plan, well, not the old plan, but the plan is just that the Romanian and Hungarian vehicles will go in the Italian tree. They are premiums right now. We have the IAR is the premium Romanian vehicle, and the BF109 and the HS129 are HS129 is Romanian as well, I think, and the 109 is Hungarian. I think they're going to go in the Italian tree. I don't think they're getting their own tech tree, but I have no idea. That's just from what I remember from the public news a while ago. They do have cool vehicles though, which is kind of nifty. Will there be community games today? Nope. This is pretty much just a chat stream for a couple of hours. We have the community games and other stuff on the Thursday and the Friday. This is more of like a chill, quiet little break from your day to have a chat about War Thunder or talk about anything. As I think that's sort of more indicative to my particular, I hasten to say skill set because it's not like I'm drowning in charisma right now. But it's sort of what I think I'm better at sort of managing. So that's why this is a thing and why we are currently here. So yeah, nothing super high octane, high energy, not anything particularly very loud, just sort of having a chat and not much else. What's your favorite World War II plane? Probably the 111, HE-111, no particular variant. I just love it. I think it's such like a kind of cool and rugged design. And plus, when I was really young and I was playing the aircraft games, I had like a really bad TV, and I thought the name of the HE-111 was just called Hell. And I thought, dude, that's so cool. The plane's literally called Hell. Wow, that's super cool, dude. And I think ever since then, I kind of added some grandiose kind of mythos to it as like a plane, as it being like the most dangerous aircraft. So I think maybe from then, that's where I kind of got into it. But I just love it. I think the design's great. I think the cockpit, the canopy is really nice. It's really nicely designed, and it looks rugged. It's great. I really like it. Man, Lego Grease out here with the funny memes today. No, I'm not. Not that, I'm afraid. Yep. Hell's it? Yeah. Probably a bit stupid, but I mean, it's just that's what I thought. I couldn't read when I was younger. Lego or Gundam? I don't know what Gundam is. Is it? They're like the robots, right? Probably Lego. Then I haven't had Lego for ages, but it was quite fun when I was a chidler. Are you from Finland? No. Where would you come to this conclusion? My strong Finnish accent. The only accent I know from Finnish is Artie from Control. His voice actors are really good. Very nice. I can't even. That's just a strange message to have there. When I play it, I get shot down by every fighter simultaneously. Yeah, it's not the best in War Thunder at all. It's not really that great. But yeah, I just think it's nice visually. I think it's pretty cool. I'm very much a fan of that. What are you doing on your holiday? In my holiday? I don't really have a holiday. I'm going away for a wedding in August, I think, but that's about it. There are some Spanish 111s. Yeah, I've actually would really like to see some of those. I've never seen an HG111 in real life, so I'd love to have a look at one at some point. That'd be very cool. Let me have a neb at some questions we have. Any idea when the P39 Q15 will become available again? I don't think that's ever going to be available in the future, ever. That's a sort of permanently exclusive vehicle from the alpha testers and some of the staff. I believe that's never coming back at all. Do you get free gaming rigs if you work at Gaijin? I mean, we get this one for the studio, which is quite cool. But not really like for personal use unless it's sort of part of your job. So yeah, sort of half question, half answer there, I suppose. Is Chinese F100A good? I haven't really played it enough. Perhaps if Copsy is still here, he can tell you. He played that one quite a bit. That's not something I have a huge amount of sort of knowledge in. I could probably give you a brief rundown, but I don't sort of fancy my chances in being very sort of astute enough to comment on jets as a whole. There you go. Yes, it is good. There we go. Fantastic. Is the STRV 103 tanks worth getting? I quite like them, but they do have the tedium involved with the aim. The early 771 can be pretty fun. The 831 not so much. It just gets sort of included as at a BR where its armor isn't super reliable. At 7.7, that one there is pretty good. I quite like it. You need to be a bit careful where you position yourself though. As of course the tedium that comes with the hull aiming can, it's not the most fun vehicle in the world to use. But in the right spot, and if you can kind of get the hang of how to smooth out the aiming, it can be decently fun. I quite like it. And plus it does have the lineup as well, so if you get on a map where it's not going to work, you have the Centurion Mark 10 analog and the ATGM carrier, the 771. So yeah, it's I like it, the first one at least. Should I order a panini or that other word for breakfast? I don't know what either of those things are. I know panini is sort of like a flat sandwich, isn't it? Sure. I mean, if you like it, go for it. How many people work at the German office? I can't remember. It's been so long since we've all been here. I think about 11, 12, maybe 15. Around then. There'll be more soon as well. And we also have applications if you want to work here. If you go on the website, there are some place is open for marketing managers and junior marketing managers. If that's more your thing, you can come and work here. And, don't know, maybe be in the background of this at some point if you want to. I don't know. I've tried getting everyone else involved to sort of just knock about on the stream, but they don't seem to be very interested. Maybe one day we'll do that. Will we get the 109Z for the tech tree? Nope. It's a premium and will remain as a premium, sort of as an exclusive vehicle. It will probably come back at some point, but I don't know any specifics there. Is the Type 90B a good tank? Yes, it has a lot going for it. Obviously, it's not exactly the most forgiving vehicle to play. It's very, very easy to knock out, but the fast reload really sort of rewards good map knowledge, which is pretty good. So I like it. I haven't played it too much. I don't play top tier a huge amount. I just don't really like the feedback loop as much as low tiers. But as a vehicle, it does have a lot going for it. And if you are confident in knowing the maps, you can get a really good amount done with that thing. I think it's definitely worth going for in the long run. Absolutely. Magazine, go for it. I mean, yeah. If you know about marketing, send an application. We can hang out and talk about. The first thing that came into my head was the word cows, but I haven't really thought about cows, so maybe not. Whatever you like, maybe. Will the P47M come back one day? Probably. I mean, it's one of those vehicles that comes back sporadically for sales and events, so I don't think it's gone forever. But I can't say for certain on anything. Excuse me. Brazilian tech tree? Probably not. I don't know. These are questions I'm not exactly well equipped to answer. Do you have plans to add new biplanes or Polish vehicles? No idea. New biplanes would be cool. I really like biplanes just sort of as a type of aircraft in general. I'd like to see more, but I don't know how likely that'll be until if and when there's another tech tree that has low-tier vehicles. I'm not sure. Hello, Greek dude. I hope you're doing just fine on this merry day. Man, these are the Lego Grease out here with literally the funniest comments I've ever seen. I'm drowning in laughter right now. No, we're actually on the second floor, so got a great view behind me if I open the window, which I can't right now because there's a screen in the way. Yeah, very nice place. A very nice sort of open office. It's very, very pretty. Will the mouse come back one day? Generally speaking, it comes back once a year around War Thunder's birthday. I don't know if it's coming back for the next one, although I would imagine it is. So yeah, there's something to look forward to there. Panther 2 and Tiger 105 is not researchable anymore. Yep, they are not available anymore. Probably won't be in the future. But we'll see. Who knows? I do not. Do you like baguette? Does this have a double meaning or not? Because, I mean, I like normal baguettes. That's sort of all I can add to that particular comment. Do a funny? I don't think I'm sort of equipped to do that. I'm obviously not a very humorous person. You know, I don't know how to dab or, I don't know what's funny. I don't really make loud noises. I think making loud noises is a sort of good substitute for being funny because it sort of tricks people's brains into believing something interesting's happening. I'm not really very good at doing that because I have quite a sort of quiet voice. So yeah, I mean, we're not here for high octane, charismatic sort of rigmaroles, I'm afraid. What's your opinion on not answering that because I know what will happen. Hello, Collusion. How are you? What time is it? Dude, YouTube chat is a lawless wasteland. This is brilliant. I'm getting some gems up in here. This is entertaining for me. This is brilliant. Okay, I'm having a great time. I'm having a really great time. I cannot speak to when the A10 T14 is all the F14's coming. I cannot speak to this, I'm afraid. I can help with particular aspects about the game, but there's not a lot I can say about upcoming content unless it's officially released, I'm afraid. Any squadrons available? Yeah, there's loads. It's quite a good idea to sort of, I don't know, go on the Reddit or anything and just say, hello, I'm looking for some chums. Who can I be chums with? And there'll usually be people saying, yes, let's be chums. And you can sort of go from there. Or you can go via, I have sort of, it's not really my squadron, it's a squadron that I'm in and sort of not as active as I used to be, but going to Split is the one that I'm in. They are sort of quite helpful, and the sort of whole gist is to sort of help new players out, which is quite nice. You can try going for there if try going there if you want, and joining. Everyone's sort of welcome. There's no sort of skill requirement. You just sort of need to be active. You can go there if you want, which maybe would be nice. I don't know. Do you like Peep Show? Yeah, Peep Show is pretty good. I have all the DVDs, although I haven't watched it for a while. Please don't bad, Tom. I don't know what this means, I'm afraid. When will Britain get some love? Please! I don't know. I don't know what this means. What does this mean? Surmise. Hello, aviation boy. I hope you're having a merry day. What is this? That's like a... I can't say that. Do you think that the 25-minute match timer will be changed in the near future? No idea. I think maybe if there's a good reason for it, maybe. I have no idea. I personally kind of don't really mind it at all. I played... there was a product I was working on a few weeks ago, and I had to play about 300 games of ARB. And I never actually... well, apart from maybe 1 or 2 times where I thought the match ended early and I could have won the match, but it didn't really come into play much. So personally for me, it hasn't been too much of an issue, the long match timer, or the shorter match timer rather. It's only sort of been beneficial on my end. But yeah, maybe if it's a sort of a universally disliked thing. Personally, I don't have too many issues with it myself, but maybe if other people don't like it, I'm not sure. Thoughts on Red Bull? It's a beverage, I suppose. There's not really a huge amount else I can go into. It's all right. I have it rarely if it's around, but I don't really go for it most of the time. Can we expect a dev blog today? Maybe not yet, but quite soon, I would have thought. Maybe quite soon. I'm not saying the Y word. I'm not hilarious enough for that, I'm afraid. Any plans to renew your YouTube series? Yeah, I did a fair bit of work on the script last weekend, and it's sort of progressing slowly. I do have a lot going on at the moment in other areas, so I don't have as much time as I'd like. But when I have the opportunity, I am working on it. So yes, it's not like put off. It's just whenever I have the time, I will sort of put some work into it, which can be sometimes quite... Depends how long I have. Sometimes it's like an hour, 2 hour long kind of brevity windows where I can work on it. But most of the time, it's not a huge amount of time available. When I can work on it, I do, which is nice. I quite like boats. Like Destroyer gameplay is where it's at for me. I can play that a lot and have a pretty decent time. I don't know, the sort of style of gameplay is just, I don't know, more suited to me, I think. Destroyers. Is the ZTZ99 good? Yes. I don't think it's the best vehicle, but for what it's worth, it's pretty fun. All top tier vehicles that don't have a distinct, obvious downside, I think are pretty great. They're sort of universally functional. Excuse me, in that there's not a lot they can't do. The ZTZ is one that's relatively limited in the gun depression and the reverse speed. But apart from that, it's yeah, pretty good. I mean, it's a vehicle that's if you have like good reaction times, you know where to aim and you know where to put your vehicle, it's gonna do well. It's sort of the same with effectively every top tier vehicle. Enable is fun, yeah, I think it is. It definitely has its areas that aren't really fleshed out right now, but there are areas that I pretty much enjoy. Um, yeah, I mean, there's not really much I can say to it. It's just an area of the game I like. I don't hate it at all. Um, sure, yeah, I mean, believe it or not, we should play boats. Come on, dude, hit me up. We'll sail together on the high seas. Thoughts on German JU for Silver Lions? Which JU do you mean? 288, one of the Stukas? 88? Give me the business. What are you thinking? Why don't all Stukas have Jericho sirens? Because only the B2 had it. I don't think the later ones actually had them. It's not that they've been left out, it's that they just weren't really included, I'm afraid. Bismarck or Halifax? What is this? What is this comparison? Do you mean the ship and the plane? That's a sort of odd pairing there. JU69, that is maybe the funniest thing I've ever heard. Well done for that. That's incredible. Okay, so do you mean the 288 for getting silver lines? Yes, very, very good. It's fast enough to get to the bombing points before you can get intercepted most of the time. So yeah, it's pretty good. And it's a vehicle you can play without putting in too much effort. You can, like, I don't know, put on a podcast or watch a movie while you play it, which is pretty good. And plus the defensive guns are just good enough to where you can get some air kills as well. It's a good vehicle to use because you can pretty much guarantee you're going to get some points. So yeah, I'd say it's worth getting, absolutely. If you have the budget for it. Halifax or Lancaster? Halifax. Better than the Lancaster in my opinion. It seems more sturdy. Bomb load is still really good, and as it's at a lower BR, it's it's going to fight weaker enemies, less potent guns. So I think the Halifax definitely wins. It's a really, really underrated aircraft. Better than the Lancasters and the Stirlings in my opinion. Pretty much just relative to the BR, because Lancaster's more powerful, but as it's at a high BR, it's meeting more powerful enemies, so it's going to not perform as well. Halifax has it for me, absolutely. I can see the wall on your left side. Yeah, it's where the green screen sort of is giving up. I could go and give it a little pull, but that ain't me. Too far away. I could sort of try it. Let me see. It's hard to get grippage on it. No, it's not working. It's not going to happen, I'm afraid. Terrible. Disaster. What's your favorite high BR prop bomber? I mean, define high BR. What are we thinking? Let me know. Delineate. You are nice guy. Thanks. I appreciate that, although I don't know exactly how to respond. BR 5 to 8. What do I think? Maybe the TU2. I quite like the TU2. It's very versatile. You can sort of use it as a pseudo fighter if you're confident. I really like them. They do a lot of good work, especially in tank ground forces. AirRB as well. I mean, you can get to some bases, and then you are semi-capable against some fighters if you know what you're doing. It's not in a situation where it's helpless if you're engaging a fighter. Like, one good thing you can do with fighters like that, well, bombers, is you have enough speed to make about 1 or 2 good turns. And if you can make 2 good turns and jink the enemy off you, then they're just slow enough to kind of like leather them with the defensive guns. The Year 2s are really good for that as well. And the TU2 can definitely do that. So I really like it. It's a pretty good plane. I'd probably go for that one. Um, Blenheim was a boss back in the day. Yeah, I mean that thing was nutty. I played a lot of that in ARB in the early days. Really fun playing. I hope we get some of the other variants in the future too. Actually, like the fighter variants, that'd be really cool. I'd like to see those one day. Get Q5 or just grind other Chinese planes. From my perspective, the Q5 is not exactly very good. I have not exactly had the best time with it and not heard the best things about it. I haven't really used it very much, but even so, it's a bit too sluggish to be used in the anti-air role reliably, and its ground ordnance isn't really excellent enough to be able to reliably use it for that. I'd probably focus on other vehicles if I were you. Beaufort is still evil. Yeah, Beaufort's really good. I love all those early things. They're really, really great. So I'll focus on the planes? Yeah, I would. I would. You probably won't get the best experience playing the Q5 if we're just using it as versus other planes. I bought the top German jet on sale, but the wings are not really epic. What does this mean? I am very unsure about that. Wow, voice giving up already. I haven't drunk enough water. My throat just gives up. Just gives up. And so that's the first one. There'll likely be more coming from this point. Lag 3.8 or Yak 1? I personally prefer the lags. The extra 50 cal just works quite better for me, and I think the maneuverability at low speeds just kind of works for me. It's easy to get nose on, in my experience. I'd probably go with the lag, but I haven't played both of them enough recently to kind of be able to say for certain which one I think is best. But off the top of my head, I prefer the early lags over the early Yaks. Do you have a big titty goth GF? No. What a sentence to say on this stream. But I mean, you know, I don't play by the rules. I'm, you know, a renegade, a maverick, as it were. I can't say that seriously. I just want to punch myself in the face. Terrible. Why does... A great statement there. Why does what? Let me know, and I can help. Tiger 2P or IS2 mod 1944? Which should I buy? Tiger 2P is probably the more usable of the two. The IS2 is... I really like it. It's better armor-wise against weaker enemies, but against vehicles that can cut right through it, it's worse, really. It doesn't have as much going for it in terms of defense. The Tiger 2P can get penetrated by weaker enemies because there's only 100 millimeters on the turret face. But you can work around that by keeping on the move and angling the turret. And plus, reloads faster, gun is arguably more reliable in terms of what it can do. I'd probably go with the Tiger 2P. Works better in up tiers as well. And the reload doesn't hold it back. I'd probably go with that one. Why does the AB43's front lights make it look like it's disappointed in me? I can't really speak to that. Maybe it is. Maybe it is disappointed in you. Maybe it's you know, maybe there's something going on there. We often say that, you know, we sort of project in ourselves and we look at objects that may pertain to pareidolia, which is sort of the nature of seeing faces and things. Maybe there's some disappointment going on there. Maybe you are not sort of performing as you want to perform in life. Perhaps, you know, there's elements to better yourself here. And, you know, I'll be behind you every step of the way so that the AB43 is no longer disappointed in you. What's your opinion on 80s music? Some of it is nice, some of it is not. I can't really speak in black and white terms there. I'm quite a grey person in terms of things like that. Will there be a new update coming soon? Yes, it will be soon. Bro, maybe I can better myself for the AB43. I believe in you. I've got your back, and so does Italian light armored vehicles. Absolutely. F100A or J6? Ask Copsy. He is here. He is the jet man. The jet boy. Not sure what that means. Aircraft carriers in naval games? Maybe in the future? I don't know. What will happen when the channel reaches 1 million subs? Maybe something quite cool, although I'm not sure. Let's spam Sturm Tiger. I mean, you can. It will change nothing, and I just won't read anything. There's no point to this. It is a waste of time, I promise you. My GF dares you to buy a comb and use it. Sure. I mean, it's not a very exciting dare. I could do that, but at the same time I couldn't, and nothing would change. My hair would just be pretty much the same. I don't do anything with my hair. This is just how it is. It's just sort of does what it wants. It's unbelievably thick. Lamau. And because of that, I can't do anything with it. I just sort of let it do what it wants. And sometimes it looks okay, but most of the time it looks like this. So why did you guys change from streaming Friday to now Tuesday? This is Monday, by the way, unless you're in another country. Maybe you are. We still stream on Thursday and Friday. We have the duo stream for War Thunder and Enlisted on Thursday, and then Enlisted on Friday. That won't change. It's just that I'm doing a solo one on Monday. Maybe Mike will do his own solo one in the week at some point. That would be cool. We'll have to wait and see. Thick hair gang, yes. It's very annoying. It grows very quickly, and I'm going very grey as well. There's a lot of contrast on this camera, so you can't see, but my hairs are going incredibly grey, and it's makes me look quite old in some lighting, I suppose. Has someone guessed your playtime yet? Nope. They have not. How old are you? Early 20s, 23, I think, 22, 23. One of those, I think. Maybe. Do you know if Enlisted will be coming to Steam anytime soon? I don't think it's planned to come to Steam, at least for a long time, if at all. But you're probably better off following the official news for that. I can't remember exactly, but I think it's not planned for now, at least. Will War Thunder ever do drops on Twitch? Yes, it will do in the future, has done before. I don't know when, but it's not unlikely it will happen. Add monster truck for big funt. Okay. Sure. Guess you were playing a lot? I mean, I've been playing, I can't remember when I started playing, but for at least 8, 9 years. So I have racked up a lot of playtime overall. Up until a few updates ago, I had every vehicle in the game spaded. Like some of those I probably got for free through the content program and like used GE to spade them. So like I haven't gone through every single vehicle and spaded it, like, but probably like 97, 98% of all vehicles I've played and spaded. So I've played a lot. Man, you look 40-ish. That's brilliant. I'm glad you've said that because I often get told I look too young. So that's great. I'm actually kind of glad I look about 40. I have quite a vague face, quite a vague appearance, which can be very funny sometimes. Yep. If it ain't the B-Tech Knoll, that's quite like imaginative. I've heard that before, or at least the variants of that. But that's you've put a bit of effort into that, so I can respect it. My granddad looks younger. That's great. That's really nice. I'm glad about that. I mean, there's not really much else I can add, I'm afraid. No, don't be sorry. I'm japing you. It's fine. I mean, I really don't mind at all. We're having like a merry time here. Don't be sorry. We're all good. We can still be best friends. Becoming a War Thunder roast. I mean, it can be, yeah. I mean, maybe we could do it at some point. Maybe now is not the exact the best forum to do this on, but maybe that could be funny at some point. What is the best way to avoid burnout? Go back to the lower tiers, switch modes, etc. Well, that was a sort of a grandiose preparation to answer this question. Uh, the best thing to do for this is to make sure you're playing every tree, because if you get like burnt out with one tree, you can sort of switch and play another. And that's really the best way to go. If you're playing the same thing over and over again, the game becomes almost like a job, and that's not really ideal. It's not fun if you're treating it like that. It sort of sucks a lot of the enjoyment out of it if you're playing to sort of just progress. So I think definitely play other trees. If there's a tree you haven't started, give it a go. I mean, you make progress so quickly in the lower tiers that you will constantly be unlocking stuff. You're constantly spading stuff, getting camos, which will make your brain happy because you're achieving stuff. And that's really the way to go. It's make yourself play other stuff. Initially, because I was playing way before tanks were added, years before tanks were added, and I never had any interest in tanks. So I never played them when they came out. When they did come out, I thought, yeah, I'll give it a go. I'm getting a bit bored with planes. Let's see what tanks can offer. And I started really getting into it, and now I mostly play tanks. So if it can work for me, it can definitely work for you. If it's like if you're reaching a roadblock in one particular line, try out another. And after some time, it will just sort of click for you, and you'll be able to enjoy everything about the game. That's how I can sort of play this game. Well, how I've played this game for so long is that I enjoy all aspects of it. I can play effectively anything as long as I'm achieving something in the game and enjoy it. And that's why I can play constantly, like not get annoyed with it, like not get burnt out. I can just hop in and do anything, and I can get enjoyment out of it. And I think, I mean, I appreciate that's probably not possible for everyone, because we all work differently as people. We're not going to get sort of our brains aren't going to get happy by the same stuff. But it's certainly something to try, and that's what I'd try if I were you. Happy chemicals, yes, absolutely. How do I get the mouse? I would wait until War Thunder's birthday. It comes back around then for a few days. I don't know if it will come back for the next War Thunder birthday. Probably will. I'm not sure. That's my guess. Who TF are you? I do the official streams with Mike on Thursday and Friday. My YouTube name is Oxy. You can find very long videos that I do on War Thunder on there if you want. They're probably quite boring, but if you want some advice on how to play ground trees, they help sometimes. Plus, you can listen to them to fall asleep, apparently. So apparently that's a plus. Maybe go for that. Hello again, Fletcher Rock. I hope you're doing just fine, Chief. SU9 or SU11? Comparing a product to a mainline counterpart is kind of a difficult thing to for me to answer. Do you mean in terms of like raw performance? Because the SU11 has it covered on that front, but the SU9 is good enough to where you don't need to buy the premium to get the most out of the playstyle. They both have sort of their pros and cons as a product in a free vehicle. How does one acquire friends? In game or in real life? Which are you looking for? Performance, SU11. It's just better. Effectively, it's faster. Objectively better as a vehicle. Absolutely. In real life? Well, where are you in your life? Like, are you in uni? Are you at school? Are you working? Like, give me the baseline. Run me down on you. Will there be a tank added that has a bigger cannon than the FV 4005? I don't know. Maybe. There are some, I guess. Iron Wolf, hi Tom, what tank do you recommend for beginners? Something that it has a passive advantage. Generally how I describe this is that you have the sort of tank trifecta of three main attributes, which are armor, mobility, and firepower. Firepower and mobility are active advantages in that you need to do something with the vehicle to make those advantages work. I.e. you need to put, like say for the Hellcat example, the mobility, you need to put the vehicle in a place where, it's going to get round to the flanks, it's not going to be on the main line of sight. That requires you need to do something to get the most out of that advantage. Firepower, you need to be able to aim, put your shots well, that's again an active advantage. Passive advantage is armor, in that you don't really need to do anything to make the armor work. Obviously you can by angling, and you can sort of buff it in that way. but most of the time, armor will save you without you doing anything. Sometimes, um, the onus of armor being effective is on the enemy to penetrate it or overcome it. So that's the way to go, is to play a vehicle that's well armored. I would definitely go with something like the KV-1s. They struggle a bit in up tiers, but generally speaking, they're pretty forgiving. Any sort of low tier heavy tank like that, I would go for. They're very forgiving beginner vehicles. I'm in school, and you're 15. Well, let me have a big sort of sip of my beverage because I can feel my throat giving up. First of all, what are your interests? Lay that down. What do you like? Maybe that can sort of help streamline a bit. Do you put ginger in your coffee? Not always. When available, I can sometimes. Can be quite nice, especially if you're a bit under the weather. A bit of ginger can be quite nice. Oxy's now your doctor. No, I mean, I briefly studied some forms of like counseling, so I know a bit about this, but not to the point where I could be used as a substitute for an actual professional. Honey and cream and tea, black coffee, yes, all can be nice. What is your number one pet peeve in War Thunder? Leave that with me. I'll think about it. I'm not particularly sure. Interests, aviation, tonks. That's about it. Well, one thing that I think is important if you're making friends, and I've always thought this, is that it's a trap a lot of people fall into, I think, is that you need to avoid making your interest or like your fandom your personality, in the same way that you're like, I don't know, like your identity or whatever. If you make, I think this is why I think fandom is quite difficult, and it makes people who are like obsessed with, I don't know, anime or whatever, kind of difficult to get along with if you were like in school or college with them. I definitely had people around me like that in college that I couldn't really empathize with or sort of relate to. In the if you sort of you make your kind of prime like focus, your main interest, your personality, you kind of stop being your own person. You know, you're just like a vessel for a concept, and that makes it hard for people to relate to you as a person. So if hypothetically the only way you can engage with people is by talking about like aircraft and tanks, then you are basically just a vessel for those concepts, and people who don't have like a main interest in that kind of thing will probably struggle to relate to you. So by all means, inject those elements into conversation when possible, but try and, you know, make or present to people what makes you you. You know, not just the things you're interested in, but like, you know, who you are, what you like doing, what you want to do for the future, etc. Just things you can relate to people with, things that everyone can. It's why people who have small talk or whatever talk about things that are universally known, like the weather and traffic or whatever. Like, it seems kind of boring and superficial, but it's because you can have a conversation about it because it affects everyone. So if you can kind of work out things, like if you have like someone you want to be friends with, and you can kind of see what they're interested in, you can find some common ground, and from then you can kind of spread out in what, you know, you can talk about and engage with. And that's a really good way to start out. I think, you know, disconnecting your prime interests or your like identity with who you are is a really good way to go, because then you become more of a person rather than just like an idea or you know, anything like that. I think that's a really good step to make, is sort of identify that, and if that's something that you can see yourself doing, try and kind of disconnect it from yourself, and I think that's a good thing to do. I'm not trying to say that you do that, by the way, but just if you could see yourself doing that, it's a good thing to sort of try and avoid, because it does make it kind of difficult for people to get on with you, I think, like that. My hairline is sort of slowly getting back into place. That was a big tangent. Oxy, who is your first crush in school or anywhere? I really can't remember. I don't think I really paid attention to that. Like, I'm not really someone that's outwardly interested in that kind of thing. So I don't really notice very much. Um, excuse me. There probably was something at some point, but I can't really remember what it is or what it was rather. Do you watch anime? Not really. I've seen about 3 anime shows in my life. I don't really like it very much. I just find it a bit cringy to watch a lot of the time, but some of them are quite good. I've watched some that I enjoyed, but I don't watch it a lot at all. Up to 72 confirmed hair swipes. Bloody hell. Let's see if we can get up to 100. That's terrible. Christ, I'm an absolute mess. Thanks for advice. Really great advice for autistic people. I mean, sure. I mean, I think it's a trap that a lot of people do fall into because it's it becomes like if you have a really strong interest in something, that's the easiest thing for you to talk about. So it's obviously something you'll bring up to people. But if it's the only thing you talk about, it's kind of hard, to have a conversation. If it's like you go up to someone who's like obsessed with War Thunder, you're like, hey, how are you today? And they don't really say, I'm doing well. It's like, yeah, I'm okay, playing War Thunder, just playing my KV1, having a great time. And it's like, okay, what are you planning on doing the weekend? I'm playing War Thunder, And it becomes difficult kind of having like a flow of conversation through that. So if you can kind of catch yourself as someone who maybe does do that a little bit, it's a good thing to kind of take a step back from. Not like remove it like entirely, like not to the point where you never talk about your interests, but let your interests take a back seat to having like an active present conversation with someone. I think that's a really good thing to practice. Absolutely. Does Sweden have good tanks? Yes, very much. They have a lot of good and interesting stuff. They have a lot of interesting vehicles at different points in the tree, which I think is quite nice. And there's lots of different playstyles in there. And the best thing about Swedish tanks for me is the gun depression. The kind of the main thing that they kind of have is about 10 to 15 degrees. Some even have 20, which means that you can play them in areas that other tanks just cannot play in, which is such a good advantage, a huge advantage. And it also works on another level, being that enemies, you can basically play in areas where players are conditioned not to expect enemies. If there's a really big hill that basically no other tanks can play in, a player that plays a lot will sort of passively kind of filter out those spots from where they scan, looking for enemies, because no one ever shows up there. You can make use of those spots, which is really, really useful. So Swedish tanks are great just because they can take advantage of areas of the map other tanks can't. So they have, it's a good tree to go down. Absolutely, really, really good. Really, really good. Hi, Tome. Cheers from Italy. Cheers from Germany. I hope Italy is having a very good time right now. I ordered a good book from Italy recently. It was an art book from the 80s. I cannot pronounce the guy's name, but it was really, really good. And that was sort of my most recent Italian experience. It was very nice. Very, very nice. What is your favorite nation in War Thunder? Probably America. They just have a lot of different and interesting stuff. Their prototypes are interesting. They've got some great lineups, and overall, they just have some really fun vehicles. Big fan. Big fan. Sorry, I gotta go. Hope the rest of the stream goes well. I hope so too. I hope you have a lovely day, and hopefully see you on the next one as well. Thank you for stopping by. Much love. Do Minecraft stream? I think it would be funny. I mean, maybe at some point. I don't think most people would enjoy it, but maybe it could be funny. Perhaps. Maybe one day. Cheers from Czech Republic. From John Smooth. That's maybe the funniest name I've ever heard. Not the funniest name. That's probably the best name I've heard today. Sounds like a sort of Bond name. That's brilliant. Cheers to you. I hope you're having a nice day. All right. I will finish my tea. I'm on the last sort of pour. There you go. Tea is extinguished. I think the USSR 7-3 lineup is boss. What do you think about it? I agree. A boss lineup, my G. Yeah, Yeah, really good. I mean, you've got the workhorses, the T54, 49. You've got the BMP1. You can take out the IS3, the Object 268. You've got the SU9 for some CAS. You can maybe use the TU2s of that BR. Not super reliable, but it works. I think it's a really, really good lineup. Really good lineup. I don't know if it's one of the best, but overall it has a lot going for it. You've got a vehicle that works in almost every scenario. So it's a really good one to focus for. Really, really good. What do you do with the dregs of the tea? I mostly just leave it. Most of the time I just sort of don't know. I drink about half of my beverage and then just sort of forget that I have it and do other stuff and come back and it's like cold. It always happens to me. It's a nightmare. Terrible. I don't know what this means. What other games do you play when War Thunder just isn't playing nice? I don't play many other games. I like to play kind of... I want to say I like playing more narrative games, but that's like super pretentious to say. That's like the art film equivalent of video games, which I can appreciate. But I don't know, I like those games. I like sort of more chill experiences where you can kind of turn your brain off. I played Amori recently. That game was very, very good. If you are not where you want to be in your existence, play that game. It's very good. You'll get attached to the characters. The gameplay loop is quite fun. And it's got a lot going for it as an experience. I really liked it. I think you will too, if you're someone a bit like me. A very, very good game. What else have I played recently? I played Control again recently. That was really good. Great world building gameplay, not so much, but the game itself, the world and universe sort of carried the game. I like that. And I haven't really played much else, I think. I'm playing a lot of Enlisted, of course, getting sort of to grips with that. But most of the time it's just War Thunder and other stuff. But yeah, sort of more chill games, more sort of under the radar stuff. I really like, really, really like. When is Dad coming back from the war, Tome? I can't. I'm unsure if I want to take that in a funny direction or a melancholy direction. I think I will just acknowledge that I could have taken it in either way and not commit to anything. I don't know really where to go with that. I don't know. Maybe he'll come back soon. That would be nice. Best Swedish tank? Don't know. I'm really not sure what it would be. I need to actually remember what ones there are.
Let me look at my KDs.
Not that that's a good way to sort of work out exactly what good thing there are. I had some good KDs, I think. I got a 10-1 KD in the KV2. I think I'm 80 to 8 in that with a 100% win rate after 22 games. That thing's pretty good. Great vehicle for the lower tiers. Great gun. Not the best reload, kind of weak, but if you have good positioning, the gun depression really carries it. Maybe that'll be my favorite, although I haven't played it for a while. But it's really reliable, really reliable. I'll go with that. For sure. So you enjoy games like Everyone's Gone to the Rapture? I haven't played that. I think I was going to play it, and I thought even for me it was a bit kind of meh. I don't like kind of super walking simulators, although Dear Esther was quite good. But yeah, I don't. I mean, it's a bit tricky for me. Like I don't dislike those games, but the narrative flow needs to be really, really good. And a lot of the time it just isn't. It's usually made by people that want to make a game but don't really have the ability to make a kind of in-depth game system. So it's like they let the narrative carry it. And a lot of the time it just doesn't land for me. But I think sometimes they can be quite good. But most of the time, not really. Sometimes, maybe. Sometimes it works for me. Delet Torn can work really well. Yeah, it's really good. It can meet vehicles it will struggle with, but yeah, it's a great vehicle overall, especially with the autoloader and the APHE. Very, very nice. Very nice. Have you played Wargame Red Dragon? I have the games, I haven't played them. I think I tried playing them at a time where I just didn't have the time to dedicate learning the interface, and I couldn't get into it because I couldn't sort of give myself the time to kind of learn how it all worked. I really liked it for what it was, but I think I'd need to kind of spend a bit more time playing to kind of get the gist of the game. But I liked it for what it was, but I didn't spend too much time on it. I'll probably go back to it at some point. Thoughts on toads? Some of them could be pretty nice. There was a bright orange toad that used to hang out in my garden. I don't know what he was doing there. He was just sort of existing, which, you know, is a vibe, I suppose. He was pretty cool. I just gendered the toad. I assume it was a he. Maybe it wasn't. No idea. This was like 10 years ago. Yeah, toads are fine. I like that frog as well. Like, what's it called? Like the budgies frog or whatever, that you sort of squeeze it and it screams. I mean, that to me is a good animal. I like that. Is your playtime 7,999 hours? Not even close. It's a lot more than that. Why does War Thunder not have advertisements? It does. It has a lot of them. I help manage them. Maybe you just won't see them very much. Thoughts on guinea pigs? I had two. I had two guinea pigs growing up. They were very, very sweet. Very sort of, don't know how to describe them. They're sort of like potatoes, aren't they? They're very very soft and very sweet. I like them a lot. Do you even gender, bro? Yep. I think so. Oxy, if you could only use one SPA for the rest of your life, what would it be? Now, does this... Okay, I need more factors here. Does it mean that I can only ever use this in one lineup, like where it is in the game? Or is it can I kind of transcend the boundaries of the game and play it in every lineup I want? Or is it just that I have to pick one that I can use over everything? Like over in one tree, but, you know, say if it's 2.0 BR, I can only ever play it at that BR. Like, give me the groundwork. What else? I need more data. I literally get an ad for War Thunder while playing War Thunder, watching War Thunder on YouTube. There you go. See, it all works. All works. Very cool. And my dad has just texted me. What's he sent? What's he sent? Oh, my dad sent me a picture of some bottles he dug up from the ground. Maybe I can show you. This is probably really boring, but I'll see if I can show you that. My dad dug these up. These are brandy bottles, although they're sort of green screening a bit right now. He dug them up from a Victorian bottle dump. We dig up bottles sometimes together, and he found those, and they're quite cool. So, Da, if you're watching, you're not, because he can't work out how to make YouTube work. But yeah, my dad's pretty cool. He likes to go treasure hunting. We kind of do that together sometimes. Tell Dad I say hi. I will do that. Although maybe I won't, because that could be weird. But actually, I'll tell him that I've shown them on stream. How about that? He'll probably get a bit shy about that, but we'll see. Bless him. I miss my old dad. Hopefully I can see him again soon. Touch his face for me. I mean, I won't tell him that I've done that like via you, but maybe. It could be quite... I don't know how you'd react to that. He'd probably be very, very concerned. Thoughts on dolphins? I don't know what they're up to, therefore I don't trust them. But overall, they seem to be having a good time. Apparently they bully people. Well, not people, but sort of other animals, which is a bit mean. I think they use like the mola, like ocean sunfish as like footballs. They kind of like jostle ocean sunfish around. I really like ocean sunfish. They're just like really big and useless. They just sort of float around and look like stunned the whole time. So I've got a bit of a soft spot for them. Will we ever see bombers like the B-36 or Tu-95? I touched on this a bit earlier. I don't think the game is at a state right now where it can accommodate for those bombers and be fair to the players fighting them and the players using them. But hopefully at some point the landscape will change, or the skyscape, I suppose. I'd like them. They're some of my favorite aircraft of all time, but I just don't think the game can accommodate for them right now. But I think they're pretty cool. Maybe at some point. I have no idea. What premium vehicles would you recommend for French vehicles in the upcoming sale? Planes or tanks? Let me know. I'm French. I'm glad to hear that. I'll toast to that. Asterix, funny message. Asterix, yep. Hilarity ensues. Gonna go out to buy bread. You need anything? Bread, actually. I've got no food at home. I have 2 frozen bread rolls in the freezer and some noodles that are like 5 months old. So hit me up with some bread. That'll be great. How to get enemy off my 6 when flying? Very vague as a question. That's probably quite difficult to answer. One thing you can do, if you are very, very new, as in like you're not really very experienced with the game, one thing you can do, this isn't actually like, it's not like the most intense or useful experience you can go for. Excuse me. But what you can do is go in to the mission editor and go in free flight, because when you go in there, you will spawn 3 wingmen who will fly in the same aircraft as you in element formation. And those AI are designed to try and stick behind you at a distance. That's sort of what they're kind of programmed to do. So you can spawn in and then try and get behind the AI that are designed to get behind you. If you know what you're doing, it's like really easy to do it. But if you're really new, it's a good way to kind of practice. So if you can kind of spawn in there and like try and bleed your speed, get behind them, shoot them down, they respawn. That's a kind of like a good baseline to practice with. It's not like the most useful thing in the world, but you can definitely give that a go. It can help sometimes. I do read Twitch chat, yes. Just not all the messages if they're, as some of them are. Soviet or China? What denominations of Soviet and China are we discussing? Let me know. Char 25, a lineup tank? Yeah, I mean it can sort of work anywhere really. I mean it can work in up tiers, but yeah, it works kind of well in tandem with other vehicles. At 7.3 as well, you can use it as a sort of analog to the AMX 1390. Yeah, I think it's a decent vehicle. I haven't used it too much, but I like my time playing it. I think it's pretty good. Why do you have a southern accent? Do you mean southern UK? I don't really know what you mean. I have an RP accent, which is received pronunciation, apparently, is my accent. I learnt that in sort of doing media training. I say media training like I've had a lot of it. I haven't. It's sort of very brief. That's sort of what I was told my accent was. When will AA stop being so stupidly overpowered? I would disagree that that's the case, at least in terms of all Antia. Do you have any input or are able to forward ideas to fix certain aspects of the game? Fix is a very kind of, I guess, person by person basis on what something like a change can sort of be implemented. But yeah, I can suggest stuff. Absolutely. No, it isn't misspelled. I put Tome. I did that. It's Tome deliberately. Don't worry. What do you think of Mike being called Egg? I don't think he is called Egg, unless he is. Maybe sometimes. I don't really have an opinion on that. That's just sort of a, dunno, a statement. Favmap? I quite like Ash River as well. I don't know if it's exactly my favourite. I like Small Sinai. I liked it before the change happened with all the new rocks. But I don't know if that's my favourite anymore. Maybe probably between Ash River and Small Sinai. Maybe my favourites. I quite like those. Please show us your most played vehicles. I think my most played vehicle is the SU6 M71. And then it's the Object 268, from what I remember. I don't play one vehicle a lot. Like, I'll only play a vehicle most of the time. Like, if I'm not making a video for it for the channel, I'll play it if I can spade it or unlock camos for it. I won't play it otherwise. Like, I like achieving something while I'm playing a vehicle. I don't like just kind of playing to win like that. I mean, that doesn't kind of interest me as a playstyle. So I do like playing to unlock or like progress through stuff. And I think that's actually a really good way to progress through the tree. There's a way I would at one point, maybe not today, because I want to. There's a really good kind of way that I think people can approach the game that helps with this. And I don't know if I have time for it today, but at some point I'll go through this because I think it's really helpful for people. And I'll sort of see if I can show this off. But yeah, I'll see. Are you a Gaijin scapegoat where I can unload all my hate while playing the game? Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's mostly quite hard to upset me as a person. So if you want to sort of yell at me, you can. It won't get anywhere, but I mean, if it makes you feel better, go for it. I mean, no skin off my nose, as they say, although doesn't really work in this sense. Are you Texan? I could do an accent, but I don't want to get cancelled. I don't think I could be anything further away from a Texan in terms of how I speak, but you know, it's sort of funny at least. I mean, you can vent to me if you want, but it's not the best way to go, I think. This isn't really the place to do that. I can't help you, you know, I can't really make you feel any better if that's what you want to do, but if you want someone to listen to how upset you are, sure, but it's not a good coping mechanism. I would do other things like, you know, clean up, do the washing up if you're feeling upset. Because a good thing to do like that, if you are feeling upset with the game or whatever, just do something that you can achieve something from. Clean up a bit, tidy your desk, do the washing up, because that way you're achieving a positive thing and distracting yourself. It sort of doubles up. I always found that sort of worked for me if I was ever like frustrated with something. That's what I'd go for. Oh, voice went again. Up. Oxy, I've got to go. See you in a few minutes. See you in a few minutes. You were joking? Yes, I imagined you were with the funny kappa there. I didn't take that seriously. Don't worry. Um, yeah, I mean, it bears saying, I suppose, but don't worry. I don't think you think that. Um, okay. Why is the mouse and the Yag Tiger removed from Tech Tree? The Yag Tiger isn't. You can still play that. That's still there. The French have invaded the stream. Okay, they're welcome to knock about. I don't really mind about that. Yep. Oh, you probably heard me swallow then. Yep. Excellent. Does Gaijin force you to not say bad stuff about the game? Not at all. One of the things that I kind of outlined when I joined was that, you know, I am, you know, still gonna be able to say what I want about the game. Like obviously, like I'm not gonna go out and like say like the game's awful or something. But if there's an aspect that I don't like, I'm gonna say I don't like it. You know, there's no one forcing me to only be positive. Like if I think something's wrong, I'm gonna say something's wrong. You know, in an effort to try and get it fixed. You know, like you know, this isn't a sort of thing where I can only be here and be like super positive. You know, it's you know, if it was like that, I wouldn't have agreed to join the company because you know that's not the kind of you know I don't think I could do that. So yeah, no one's making me say anything. I can sort of say what I like. It just so happens that I overall have quite a positive outlook on the game because I really like it. I've played a stupid amount of the game, and I've played it for a really long time. So yeah, I like it. I am positive about it generally. I mean, there are things I think that could be improved all the time. The game isn't perfect. I don't think it probably can be perfect in that it's an asymmetrical game. But I think it's great. I really like it overall, and yeah. So tell us what you hate about the game. I don't really think I hate anything about it. There are probably areas that I dislike playing when compared to other areas, but there's nothing I excuse me, sort of objectively hate. I don't think I could sort of sum that down. Oh, Christ, excuse me. Hi, I am from Turkey. Hello, I hope you're doing well. What's your username? You can look me up on the player search, but it doesn't have it doesn't have all the information on what my playtime is. Additionally, because I was playing before playtime on that service was counted, and there's a lot more that goes into it than that. So you cannot find out that way, I'm afraid. Give me a tutorial on how to make tea. I could try, although it probably wouldn't be very interesting. This is my tea in a nice saffron-coloured cup. Will the TB3 come back? Some of my friends are very jealous of me having one. Yeah, I think it'll come back at some point. It's one of those vehicles that sort of comes back at some point for exclusivity. It probably will. I don't know if and when it will, but I think it's not unlikely or not impossible. How big is the Gaijin team? Pretty big. There's offices all over. There are people working like from home. There's staff all over the place. There's a really big team doing lots of different stuff. I don't know how many it is exactly, but there's lots of people working here, which is really nice. What is the best tea? I can't really speak in black and white terms on that. I quite like normal sort of breakfast tea. It sort of suits me. Yep. I don't really have much. I don't know. I'm not really very opinionated on that kind of thing. I just like some teas. Is the War Thunder community growing? Yes. I can see the numbers, and it's doing pretty well. It's very nice to see. Thoughts on fedoras? People can wear them if they want. Yep. It's a hat. Obviously, it's sort of a hat worn by people who are sometimes quite funny. But I don't wear hats. Obviously, my hair is basically a hat, so I don't really have much to say about them. So what country is your favorite to play? Probably America. I think I said this earlier. They just have loads of different play styles, lots of unique, interesting play styles, like lots of nice prototypes and stuff. I think it's really cool. Very nice. What year did you start? Late 2012, I think. Because I had an account that I played with someone else, so I didn't have my own PC. We started that account like really, really early. And then I made my own one, I think, in 2013. So I've been playing for a really long time. Back when German tracers were blue. That's my sort of claim to history. I remember that. That was quite a nice time. Yeah, very long time. Very, very long time. Will we ever have a chance? Will we ever have a chance of getting the Panther 2 again? Maybe. I don't know. It might be locked forever because it's sort of like an ahistorical vehicle. Like these vehicles were added at a time back when I think the development of the game wasn't really realized. I think the guys at the time didn't know how far it would go along in terms of like history or whether it would go to modern day or not. So those vehicles like the KT-105, things like the Coeli and the Panther 2 were added because it was really all that Germany could have had at the time. So that's why they existed. And when they stopped needing to fill a gap, they were taken away to sort of keep everything nice and historically accurate in terms of the models. And I think on that basis, it's unlikely to come back, but I can't say for certain it's going to be an impossibility rather. I'm not really sure. So I'm guessing you've been playing at least 10k hours. It's more than double that by a long shot. Have you met the founder of War Thunder? I've had some chats to them a couple of times. I haven't met them in person, but we've spoken a decent amount. Why is the Maus and the Panther 2 KT-105 removed? I just sort of explained that a bit less than a minute ago. Perhaps you can look back a little. New major update coming soon? Yes, soon. That's all I can say about that. Absolutely. How long is the stream going to be? Probably for about another 15 minutes. I usually do these for about 2 hours. It sort of winds down towards the end, and my voice gives up. As sort of, it's quite temperamental. My voice, it sort of gets very miserable if I speak for too long. So probably quite soon we'll round it up. Status on the French Navy? Cannot say. No idea. I don't think it's coming soon, from what I understand, but maybe not. I don't know. Pretty sure. No, that's already been answered. Do you prefer aviation or tanks or fleet? I don't know. I think visually, I think aircraft are nicer aesthetically, but I like the gameplay of combined tank battles. I think it's just. I love being able to take a real vehicle and just fight other vehicles with it. Like, to me, that's just an interesting concept. Like, you can do kind of whatever you want with them to make it work. Like, the onus is entirely on you to succeed, and I really like that. I just think tanks and planes are cool. I think it's great. That's probably my favorite area, although I do really like planes. I think one-on-one aircraft fights are probably like my favorite. I really, really like those. But overall, I think I probably have. I like tank battles more. I think in general, in terms of like actual gameplay. I think. Will there be come new Italian planes? Not sure. I hope so. Italy has some really interesting planes, especially float planes. What are they? Float planes. I really, really like. Hopefully, at some point in the future, we'll see some. Don't know if we will, but I really hope so. This sort of early Italian aviation is probably some of my favorite in the entire world. They just made some really, really beautiful designs. I really like that. Will there be larger maps when more modern jets are added? Probably. I think that's sort of something that will probably happen. I can't say for certain, but I don't think it's unlikely. It's probably something that will occur, I would say, if I had to guess. Oh, internet's fine. Dying a tiny bit, but most of the time it's fine. Think we'll see headlights working on tanks soon? I have no idea. I'd guess at no, because it doesn't really add much, like many positive aspects to gameplay. I guess it just makes it more easy to see. For cinematics and stuff, it would be cool, but I don't know if it's necessarily something that should be a priority. Will we ever be able to research the mouse again? Yeah, I think War Thunder's birthday is the current kind of plan for when it comes back. At least so far, going off sort of what's happened in the past. I don't know for certain if it's going to come back for the next War Thunder birthday, but I think it probably will. I'd say. I think headlights will be useful in night battles. Well, it will be useful to make you incredibly easy to see. So maybe for the enemy on that front. I mean, you can. I mean, it can light up some of the area, I guess, but most of the time it's just going to make you much more visible. And I think the best, to be successful in tanks, you need to click on your enemy before they click on you, and you're letting yourself be clicked on first if you make yourself so visible like that. When is your birthday? It's like September around, I think, like late September. I can't speak. I can't say if anything new like that's coming with the Thunderbolt on the MiG-29. I cannot say. Only the news can let you know these things. It was in September as well. Yes, we are. We are New Year's, Babs, allegedly. They say that that's why there's a lot of people born in September because your parents sort of had a very nice time on New Year's Eve, as it were. Thoughts on the Swedish tech tree and why do you like it? I answered this a bit earlier, but I like it because they can approach maps in different ways. They all almost universally have an incredible amount of gun depression, so they can play on areas of the map that other vehicles just can't, which is such an immense advantage. I really really like them for that. They can play just on the ridge lines, like around hills and stuff, where other tanks just really can't. They're like like antithetical to Russian tanks in that respect. So that's probably my favorite aspect about them. But on top of that, I mean, they've got great guns. I mean, the APHE, the 75 millimeters get is great. The long 75s. Overall, they're just really fun. I think they're a great nation, and they have some really good camos to unlock as well. I'm very boring, so I quite like camos. Do you think we'll get more historical campaign packs for other countries? I'd probably say overall that's quite low priority, but maybe in the future. I don't know. I think overall the team are probably, at least I think their time can probably be better spent on other more active areas of the game. But maybe, I mean, I don't think it's like necessarily impossible to have it worked on. I don't think it's very likely, I would say. Is there anything past the 5 years mark on the daily crate? Yeah, I think I'm up to like day 2,200 and something. It's just the standard stuff. You don't get anything special or unique, from what I understand. But it is, it will carry on. It doesn't stop. So, yep. Thoughts on the CW21? A peak brainlet vehicle. You, if you know what you're doing in that thing, it's very difficult to get shot down. You can play that thing at like 5.0 and it's still going to do well. Yeah. I don't even know if it's the best, if it's that great as a beginner vehicle because, it's easy to misplay. I had to play a lot of low tier vehicles for this project I had to work on a while ago. And I was shooting them down constantly because I think a lot of people hear that it's very easy to use and just don't know how to play it and just fail. So yeah, like if you know what you're doing, it's like embarrassingly easy to play personally as a vehicle. But if you don't, it's like if it's your first vehicle, you're not necessarily going to do really really well. But it's great if you know kind of the fundamentals of air combat. How would you even get a 2,200 day streak? Logging in all the time from the very first day it came out. Um, yeah, I think it's just below. I think it's just below or just over. I can't remember. I don't really look at it. I just sort of press the enter button when it logs in. That's about it. Will the SDKFZ 234/4 return again? Probably not widely, as it's a coupon. I think like just on the basis that people have paid like hundreds of euros for it now, and if it it comes back as a really cheap coupon, those people might feel a bit upset. Maybe on that basis it won't come back. I don't know. I'm not the store guy, so I can't really say to that. I think it's not exactly hugely likely, but I don't know. Maybe. Okay, got a few more minutes. We'll have a couple more questions, and then we shall round off the stream for today. What is your favorite jet bomber? Maybe the IL-28. I quite like that. The tail gunner can be pretty fun. I think it's really fun to kind of, if you can dodge the first few passes in the IL-28, you can really like leather people with the back gunner, because if you can because jets kind of they bleed speed a lot in maneuvers like that. So if you can bleed them and then maneuver, because of how much directional control the 23 mil guns have on the back, you can really like knock people out if you can bleed a couple of good passes from them. So I really like that thing. It's really nice as a jet bomber. I'm a fan. I am a fan. Hello, is it legal to give head pats to the M22s in top tier? I think yes, I would say so. Very kind, very sweet thing to do. I would, definitely say go out of your way to do it. Make someone's day. Very sweet. You've been logging in daily for, yeah, I mean, pretty much. I just sort of, I mean, logged in. I mean, I missed loads of days. Like I went away for like a weekend or whatever a couple of times and didn't log in, and like it keeps your progress up to like 3, 4 days. So I haven't logged in every day. I've missed a lot of days, but I just kept the streak going incidentally. Yeah. Couple more minutes. Don't you think the HE rounds are now OP? I think there's work to be done on the system, but I don't think for what they are, they're overpowered. I just think there are some gaps, as it were, in the way the new mechanics are added. I think when everything's streamlined, they'll be in a pretty good place. Could you make a video on the history of War Thunder? I'd kind of like to. I've always wanted to make like a really long documentary, like you know the Smash Brothers documentary, the Smash Bros documentary. It's like 4 hours long. I'd love to do that at some point. Maybe in a few years away, but maybe as I'm kind of, I don't know, quite visible in the community, it shouldn't come from me. Maybe someone else should make it. I don't know, but I'd like something like that to exist in the future. In any case, that'd be nice. What is your favorite ice cream? I don't know. I don't really have ice cream very much. I haven't had ice cream for years and years and years. Well, maybe not. I haven't had like ice cream directly for a really long time. I probably like someone has just given it to me at some point, but I've never like on my own fruition, best way to say that word, gone and had some. I don't know. I'll have to try some. Does Mike and you have social media? Mike does, I think. I don't really have it. I don't really think I'm sort of a good enough media person to have social media. Like, you may have guessed, I'm not exactly the most, I don't know, suited person to being someone in, I don't know, visible like this. I'm not someone that kind of thrives off, being a character. Like I can't really do that. So I don't really like putting myself out on social media because I don't really have many over the top interesting things to say because I don't know, it's just not really something that I can do well. I think like it's not really very me. So I don't really have my own social media, just sort of YouTube for videos, and that's about it. Nothing much else. Indirectly consuming ice cream sounds sus. Yep, I mean there are implications to that particular statement, I suppose. Could always share the bottle pictures with us. Maybe. I mean, I don't think many people would be interested. Maybe if they were. Yeah, that could be nice. Maybe one day. I do have lots of cool stuff that I own that we've sort of collected over the years. But I mean, overall, I'm just not really the best sort of person to kind of be that kind of character, I guess. Do you have a nose? Yes. Promise us you won't make Polish tech tree. I am not in the position to do that. Oxy almost at 50k. Really? Really? I really don't look at my sub count very much. Is it nearly at fit? That's bizarre to me. It was at like 40 something. That's strange. Wow. I don't deal well with being known in the community. So yeah, that's just really odd to me. Okay. What is the rarest plane you have? I have all of them, really. I have some of the maybe the removed Gladiator, the Gladiator 2F, the Q15, the Lag 3.4, the removed Years, the removed Spervieros, the removed SP 2Ms. I had those ages ago. Maybe those, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the overall rarest is, but I probably do own it. What's Oxy's Twitch channel? It's oxygen_thief. I don't use it very much because I don't really have the internet to be able to stream at home. So I'm not really super active on that front, but maybe in the future I'd like to. That could be nice. Okay. One more question, and I will disappear and leave it because I've been here for a while. It's maybe getting a bit boring now. So I don't want to sort of overstay my welcome. So I'll have one more, and we will leave it for today. Let's see what we have. It's not really a question, just eggs question mark. Lots of eggs question mark. Do you agree that some ground RB maps need a redesign? I don't really know in what context that means to. Like visually, like that's I'm not really sure what you mean. Spines are so overrated. Yeah, I mean, just, replace it with Jello. That's the way I would like to go. Can I get some luck for your physics exam tomorrow? Yes, you can. Absolutely. Don't cheat, and I'm sure you'll do fine. I got a C in my physics exam, and I fell asleep for about 5 minutes in it, so you can do fine if I can get away with falling asleep. Yeah, I answered the rarest planes thing. I kind of I spoke about the rarest ones I have. I'm not sure what the rarest is overall, but I have pretty much all of them sort of collected over the years. It's been a really long time. Right. Can we get a good night story? I'll prepare one for next time. I'm not sure if I can make one up on the fly. See, like, the rarest plane used to be the Lag 3-4, but so many staff have it now that it's probably not even... I don't think it's the rarest. I think the Q15 is definitely rarer, as well as the Gladiator 2F. I think only people who've won design tournaments have that, or design competitions have that one. The 3-4, I think, is owned by a fair amount of people now, so I'm not sure it's that one. Who do you love? I don't know. That's a good question. Some people probably. I don't really think about it. I imagine some people. Let me see. What could the rarest be? If I have a look here. This is my supplementary account, so I don't have anything on this one. I know you can't see it yet, by the way. I don't think there's anything I'm forgetting. Maybe the Gladiator 2F as well. Yeah, maybe the 2F. I think maybe. I don't think that's been sort of released widely since. Once there was an Oxy, he did a stream for 2 hours and he is tired and he lived happily ever after. Yep, maybe something like that. That's not really a question. Channel is dead on 49,900 subs. That's bizarre. I hate looking at the subscriber count. It bothers me. There's so many people. It's really, really strange. I'm not really suited for this life, I'm afraid. Well, I can't really see anything else going on in terms of questions that isn't the same thing being sent over and over again. So I suppose I will disappear again today. I'll finish my tea. I have one sort of schlurp left, as it were. "90 hair swipes. Look at that. Fair play. Thank you for actually counting that. That's brilliant. I like mucho respecto to that, for doing that. I appreciate. I will try and cut it down for next time because it's quite boring. I'm not accommodating for funny Reddit moments. I mean, Reddit have had their fun with me already. Hopefully they'll have no more. And I won't say anything else about keeping small cartoon characters in jars or anything of the like. Yes, I will probably disappear before I overstay my welcome here. Thank you all very, very much for coming along. Again, if there's any sort of feedback you would like to give for these, let me know. I can sort of make these better. Of course, like, this is never going to be the most sort of high octane, high energy sort of 2-hour session. It's sort of more like a little chat rather than just, yelling about things that don't need to be yelled at. That ain't me. It's sort of, I guess, maybe boring to some people. Hopefully some people it's more interesting. I don't know. But yeah, hopefully this has sort of been a little break to your day and you've had a decently nice time, maybe. I'm also very bad at giving short goodbyes. I always draw them out quite a lot, so I'll sort of speed this up. Anyway, thank you to the mods for coming by and helping out. I really appreciate that. And yeah, I really hope you've enjoyed, and I will be back next week on Monday for another one of these, and Mike and I will be back on Thursday and Friday for War Thunder and Enlisted. So yeah, thank you very much for watching and stopping by. Hope you have a lovely day, and I will see you soon.